First it was Burundi, and now South Africa is pulling out of the International Criminal Court. The country's Justice Minister, Michael Masuta, on Friday said the ICC's obligations are inconsistent with the country's laws, which give sitting leaders diplomatic immunity. Pretoria said last year it planned to leave the ICC after it was criticized for ignoring a court order to arrest visiting Sudanese President Omar Hassan al-Bashir, who is accused of genocide and war crimes. The document to exit was signed by South Africa's Minister of International Relations and Cooperation, Anita Mashabane, on Wednesday. Now, for the latest, VOA South Africa correspondent Anita Powell joins me by phone from Johannesburg. Good evening, Anita.
Hi, Vincent.
Yes, now, is that it? Like South Africa is out of the ICC?
I'm sure they wish that were the case, but this is a divorce, not a breakup, Vincent. So the letter delivered by the foreign minister to the UN 2 days ago gives a one-year notice. So they still have 12 months before they can actually leave the ICC. And during that time, they still have to honor the ICC's rules. For example, if if somebody with the ICC warrant on him or her were to come to South Africa, they would be legally obliged to arrest him or her.
Now, we did mention Sudanese President Omar. How does he come into play here?
Well, one could argue that he started this whole thing. In mid-2015, he came to Johannesburg for an African Union summit. And as you know, he's wanted by the ICC for war crimes. And so South Africa, as an ICC member, was obliged legally to arrest him. They dodged this in several previous trips by just telling him not to come or telling him outright, if you come, we'll arrest you. This time they let him come. They said he had diplomatic immunity because he was attending the summit. And they even violated a local court order that ordered them to detain him. And at the time, I spoke to some people in the Sudanese delegation. They told me that this decision came from the highest level of South African government, which means President Jacob Zuma.
Now, we know we did mention this a little bit when we talked about Burundi, but Anita, help us understand. So what now? This is a divorce. What is the process? Help us understand.
Well, I think this is not only going to be a divorce, but perhaps an acrimonious one. The Justice Minister said that this is going to go through Parliament. Now, Jacob Zuma has the numbers on his side. He leads the ruling African National Congress, and they have a comfortable majority. But the opposition has said that they'll challenge the move in court. So this means we're going to have a really noisy battle, and not just in Parliament, but also in the courts. And all of this hubbub really also dings the president himself, who's, I was about to say enjoying decreasing popularity, but the opposite of enjoying. He is suffering decreasing popularity. So this is going to be pretty ugly.
Mm-hmm. Now, very quickly, Anita, South Africa, aside from Omar al-Bashir, doesn't have anything that is on the radar of the ICC, right?
You know, I would always hesitate to say that because that's really the jurisdiction of the prosecutor, Fatou Bensouda. But to answer your question, nobody has recently referred any cases to the ICC or to the UN Security Council looking for the ICC to investigate in South Africa. So tentatively, you could say that, no, South Africa is not under the glare of the ICC at this time.
And no wonder it's such a surprise, a shock to most in Africa. Anita, thank you very much. That's VOA South Africa correspondent Anita Powell reporting from Johannesburg.